Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Rundown, where we talk about 2A news and conservative views. My name is Craig DeLuz. I'm coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. But as we all know, I do not do this program by myself.
Nope. My name is Mike Piwowarski, and I coming to you live from the East Coast, the coast with the most, with the co-host with the most. Here on The Rundown, we promise to bring you 2A views, conservative news. Craig, happy Thirsty Thursday to you, my friend.
Happy Thirsty Thursday. I pray that it is going well for you.
It definitely is. I'm just saying it says it's apple juice, but it's not.
That's kind of how Thursday works.
That's it. They're like, oh, Mike, look, you're so healthy. You're drinking that unsweetened apple juice now, right? And I'm like, yep, that's what it is. That's exactly what it is.
Excellent, excellent. Well, folks,
and why
hey,
are you
for
in
those
my home? Why are you in my home? So,
hey, folks. Hey, for those of you who are watching us or listening to us or however you watch us, do us a favor. Remember, like, share, subscribe, and encourage your friends to do the same. Let them know. They can watch us on Facebook, on YouTube, on Spotify. They can listen to the podcast version, which actually they can get on iHeartRadio. They can get on Apple iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. But whatever you do, make sure you tune in, make sure you listen in, and enjoy the program. So encourage your friends to do the same.
Get your podcast here.
Get your podcast here. All right, Mike, before we get started, let's hear our sponsors at the beginning of the program instead of doing it at the end.
Oh, we throw everybody off when we do this. Let's say hi to our good friends over at Gorilla Machining. Saw them today. Grid Defense, talked to them today. The US combatgear.com. Yeah, I'll send the guy an email. And then, of course, the good folks at the California Republican Assembly.
That's right, folks. These folks are the ones who help us be able to come to you every single workday. So do us a favor. Go to their websites. Their links are in the description of this video. Go there. Check them out if you like what you see there. Kick them down a few dollars and let them know that the guys over at The Rundown sent you.
Hey, we sent you. Yeah, all right. Yeah, we're good. Thirsty Thursday.
Mike, let's just go ahead. I'm going to just jump right into our stories. So,
Right.
Were you aware that there was an individual who showed up at Brett Kavanaugh's house with a gun, intent to kill him?
I did see a tidbit of this story, and then it immediately went away with coverage of, House bills to take away our firearms rights. So it was buried at the bottom of the news cycle here, at least on the East Coast.
Well, actually, it's funny because it's funny you point that out because it was weird the way that. Now I want you to think about this. And think about this, Mike. Imagine that someone showed up outside of Sotomayor's house and threatened and showed up and said, "You know what? I don't like the way she ruled on an abortion case, and therefore I decided to go buy a gun, and I have now come here to her home to shoot and kill her." Now, Mike, what sort of coverage do you think that would have gotten in the mainstream media?
Oh, that would be what liberal international news, right? That would have been everywhere, all the feed, all day long. Yet, again, like all we heard over here, at least where I am on the East Coast, was that a trespasser was arrested outside of Kavanaugh's home.
Right. But this was a guy who said that he was angry and upset, right? He was angry and upset about the decision. And now, by the way, there are many who are pointing to incendiary comments like this that may have set him off. And as a matter of fact, he actually made reference to this particular individual.
Inside the walls of this court, the Supreme Court is hearing arguments, as you know, for the first major abortion right cases since Justices Kavanaugh and Justices Gorsuch came to the bench. We know what's at stake. Over the last 3 years, women's reproductive rights have come under attack in a way we haven't seen in modern history. From Louisiana to Missouri to Texas, Republican legislatures are waging a war on women, all women. and they're taking away fundamental rights. I want to tell you, Gorsuch, I want to tell you, Kavanaugh, you have released the whirlwind, and you will pay the price. You won't know what hit you if you go forward with these awful decisions. The bottom line.
Now, he used the war analogy. They're declaring war on women, and he's taking away their fundamental rights, right? You have reaped the whirlwind, and you will rule the day if you make this. Now, I'm sorry. Does that not sound like incendiary language? Threatening incendiary language?
Oh, it's 10 times worse than anything I heard on January the 6th. That's for damn sure.
10 times worse than anything
this is
we've
directed.
heard.
Yeah. Yep.
It's
Oh, and by the way, we're the whole we were waging war against women and taking their rights away. Craig, did they bring back suffrage in your state? Can women still vote in your state?
No, yeah, they did.
All right, I'm just checking. I mean, he says that women have no say in this, evidently, and that they can't stop this. I'm pretty sure they have the same right to vote that I do. I'm just checking.
Right.
I'm just saying.
Well, but I think especially, I think there needs to be a hearing, right, where we look at folks. Well, like for example, on Fox News, you have a guy named Greenwald, who, by the way, is not a conservative. He's actually pointing to folks like Joy Reid, folks like Rachel Maddow, how they are the ones that actually push this guy and may have radicalized him to actually go to this guy's house in an attempt to kill him. Now here it says, as Glenn Greenwald points out, he was angry about the court's leaked ruling in Roe and the lack of gun control, and reportedly sought to kill Justice Kavanaugh in response, right? It's vital that we know which cable hosts he likes and which magazines he reads so that we know who radicalized him, right?
Yep.
I don't necessarily disagree, because you got folks like this who have basically said that these are racist, that these are people who are trying to kill women and all of this stuff. These are the people that are saying are radicalizing. But once again, it's funny though that in most major news outlets, this is like the fourth or fifth story. But like I said, if it was a conservative showing up to kill liberals, to kill liberal justice, it would be number one on the news.
Right? When they bring a rifle to Virginia and shoot at a congressman playing softball, even then they still kind of buried it, you know. This is horrible, Craig. You know, and Schumer should go to jail. And I think Reid should be going to jail. I think that's it's sedition. It's inciting a riot. There's 100 charges we could pull out of a hat and send these people to jail. Chuck Schumer needs to go now. It's not the first time he's done this either, if you recall.
Well, no, it's not. But liberals get away with being bombastic, and conservatives don't. I'm not saying that I believe they should go to jail or that they should be arrested. What I am saying, though, is that there shouldn't be a double standard. If you're going to do it to Republicans, if you're going to impeach a president for saying that people should go and make their voices heard, right, should peaceably go and make their voices heard, if that is considered incitement, well, then, hey, there's no doubt that stuff like that is definitely incitement. I'm just saying, one standard. That's all I'm saying.
Listen, I'm telling you, come the 2024 election, whether it's President Trump or Captain Florida Ron DeSantis gets in there, people are going to jail over this. I know you're talking about equal and fair and whatever else and hearings and impeachment. No, jail time. Go. Come on, Chucky, put the handcuffs on. You're going. Yep.
Don't doubt it. All right, moving right along to our next story. You may have heard already that the House has passed a massive anti-gun piece of legislation. Now, we're not talking about one or two little things in a bill. We're talking about this is so bad. Groups like the Firearms Policy Coalition have labeled this gun apocalypse. That's how bad this piece of legislation is. It has everything from banning standard capacity magazines to promoting red flag laws, raising the minimum age in order to be able to purchase an AR-15 or a semi-automatic centerfire rifle, expanded background checks, you name it. It's all in there, right? Ending home build of firearms. It is just chock full of anti-gun, anti-civil rights stuff. And the thing that makes me mad about it is that you have a number of people, or at least 3 members, who call themselves Republicans, who actually wound up voting for this legislation. And I think it's important that we understand exactly who these folks are. Now, the piece of legislation was referred to as the Protect Our Kids Act. Now, if that's, by the way, not dancing over the bodies of the kids of Uvalde, I don't know what is. Because there's nothing in this legislation that would have kept those kids from being killed from what happened. Anyway, so the 5 Republicans broke with the party. Representative Adam Kinzinger, who is the famous or the infamous Trump hater. We had Anthony Gonzalez of Ohio, Brian Fitzpatrick of Pennsylvania, Chris Jacobs of New York, and Fred Upton of Michigan. And once again, Mike, I say this and I point this out to folks because I want people to understand, just because someone has an R after their name does not mean they are pro-Second Amendment or pro-gun.
Yeah, absolutely, Craig. And there's actually a couple more than that. This was broken down into 7 different provisions, and the Democrats did this to single out the Republicans, is what they tried to do. So they could say that each Republican voted for, each individual denial of each item. They were trying to use it as a tool for when it's time for campaigning. But so that was the first piece that had those 5. There's a couple of the other pieces that actually expanded to up to 10 Republicans on each one that voted with the Democrats. So those 5 are the core, though. But this is, again, grandstanding, right? It's going to go nowhere. Why waste time? Craig, if you came into my job right now and said, listen, here's what I want you to do. I want you to write up a bunch of stuff. I want you to get it ready. I want you to stand up and talk about it and do everything. And we know we had 0% for it to chance, 0% chance for it to pass. But I'd like you to work on this all week long. That way next week we could say we did something. And by the way, I'm going to pay you full salary for getting actual no work done.
Well, you're right.
You'd be fired if you did that in my job.
Right, exactly. Well, and you're right. What this comes down to is they wanted to get people on the record, but what they've also done is they've gotten a number of their fellow House Democrats on the record voting for this stuff. And quite frankly, it's going to go really, really bad. There was actually an article in the New York Times where they pointed out, all these polls you see about, 80% of Americans believe in this or 90% believe in that on gun control issues. But what they found is when actually given the opportunity, in particular in blue states, to support those things, the number of people who actually vote for it is significantly less, right? It's way lower. In some cases, it fails in some of these blue areas, because the legislation that's proposed is very different than what the questions that they ask in the actual polls. So I think you're going to find that a lot of these House Democrats who are in marginal seats are going to wind up losing because especially in a day and age where people don't feel safe and they don't feel like the government is in a position to be able to protect them, they want to be able to protect themselves and they don't want their rights taken away.
Yeah, all of this saber rattling that's going on up there, all of this false legislation, all of this, all of this attention they're drawing to the desire to take away your Second Amendment rights this close to an election is just going to make it much more painful for them on November
It
the 9th.
is going to be interesting to say the least.
Yeah.
But now, most of these 5, I think only one is running for re-election, and he's more than likely going to lose. I think that was one of the reasons why they felt comfortable actually voting for it because, well, they never were really pro-Second Amendment.
Correct. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Oh, Joy Behar, the gift that keeps on giving. I don't have to. I guess you don't have to watch The View to actually get some of the stuff that's going on, to hear some of the stuff that's going on there, because they say so many stupid things. and then especially Joy Behar and Whoopi Goldberg. They are so famous for saying really, really stupid stuff. Like Joy Behar, who said this. Check it out.
That he said you have to find common ground right now.
Yeah.
Like we have to find a way to rise above this political back and forth and counterpunching because it's that urgent what's going on right now. And that's where I think the Chris Murphy interview, I saw what you saw, which is, yes, if I had it my way, I would snap my fingers. There's so many things I would do, but I'm not in a position to do that. So in order to do that, I'm going to have to give and take. But I want to do something because that has to happen.
But the Republican Party already has said, many of them, that taking those AR-15s off the market is a no starter.
Okay, let me just say this real quick.
It's all about the guns, all right?
Can I just say this real quick as a gun owner?
Yeah.
There are people in this country that genuinely own guns and just do so for the same reason that we all sit up.
An AR-15?
No, let me tell you. Okay, let me give you a story. There's a man in Connecticut that watched his neighbor have a home invasion and watched their whole family get killed. He built his own AR-15 because Connecticut won't let you buy them, but you can abide by rules that allow you to build them. And then he has one in his house to protect his family because he never wants to see that happen again. He is a black man. It's odd. Most AR-15 owners are former military, 35 plus and married.
One more thing.
So that's all I'm saying is that they're not just crazy people.
Okay. Here's the thing. Once black people get guns in this country, the gun laws will change. Trust me.
That's what happened with the black.
So wait, let's be clear. The line of the day is, once black people get guns, the gun laws will change. Now, Mike, I know you always question it, but I'm a black person. I own a gun.
If you say so. Yeah.
I own a gun. I own an AR-15. Now, it's been Californicated, right? It's been Californicated, but it's an AR-15. And I know plenty of people of color, black men, black women, Latinos, Asians, you name it, who are not, by the way, former military, who own AR-15s. I don't blame any black people who have guns, and I don't get it.
Greg, listen, she's such a piece of garbage. A hypocrite any way around, however you want to look at it, whatever words you want to put in there. She doesn't know what she's talking about. She has all of her facts wrong. And I'm not sure whether she's an idiot or a racist after today's comment. Is she implying that all black people are criminals and they're not legally allowed to own it, or is she trying to say they're poor and they don't have enough money to own a firearm? I'm trying to figure out which angle she's talking about. Where when black people get guns, are black people not law-abiding people not allowed to get firearms? I don't understand what she's talking about.
I have no idea what she's talking about either. But ultimately, what's happening is she's parroting a talking point she's heard from some of her left-wing friends, and it's like, that was about as racist a thing as she could possibly say, because she's just, once again, insinuating that black people don't own guns or can't own guns. Anyway, but she'll get away with it. She won't lose her job, right? As if a white conservative had said something like that. If a white conservative has said, well, if black people had an education, they'd be, all of a sudden they would lose their job in a heartbeat. But that's not what's going to happen here. It's not what's going to happen at all.
Listen, and I don't think she'll ever lose her job. Listen, they'll do like they did with Whoopi, right? They'll have the fake 1 day suspension or fake 1 week suspension. Besides, listen, there's a lot of people that wake up in the morning and they're kind of constipated, right? The only way they can clear their system is by watching her. So, they need her. They need her to stick around.
Yeah, it is beyond crazy. It is beyond crazy. Hey, Mike, but I want to get into this last story because unfortunately I've got to run a little bit early today. But I want to get into this last story. There's another Clinton aide who has committed suicide. Funny how that happens to people who hang around the Clinton. They hang around more people who wind up committing suicide or dying of accidental deaths than any other White House that I know of. In this particular case, this individual, his family is actually fighting to keep the autopsy from being released. They don't want not the autopsy, the investigation. They don't want information from the investigation to be released to the public. Mike, why do you think that is?
Because they don't want to get Clintoned. They don't want to get they don't want that to happen to them too. You mean I don't want to get Hillaried. It's just I saw you put this one up there, and I was just hoping you were going to talk about this one because I don't want this happening to me. She said this woman is what's the total now? 56 friends and relatives have died from suicide since these two were in office at governor in Arkansas. 56, Craig, 56.
Now, here's the interesting thing. So the guy killed himself he drove to a park where there was no evidence he had a park area where there was no evidence he had ever been there ever before. He climbed up on a table, put an extension cord around his neck, and then as kind of a failsafe, and then shot himself in the chest with a shotgun.
That's it. Yeah. Yep. The old shotgun to the chest gimmick. Yep. It happens all the time while hanging from a tree. Yep. That's how you do it. Yeah.
I mean,
all the time.
Don't get me wrong. It's tragic. Anytime anyone commits suicide, it's tragic. It is because I don't think there is anything in life that you are dealing with that cannot be dealt with. But the one way in which you can't deal with it is when you're dead, right? Death is the one thing you can't fix or undo. But having said that, I'm like, how do you not question that?
Yeah, I don't question it because it's a Clinton, so I'm just moving along. I'm just,
like, okay, just moving along. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see.
Come on. This is like when the wife says, "How's this dress make me look?" You just, mumble and walk away. Don't say a word. Don't say a word.
I have found that one response is don't say interesting.
Yeah, interesting. Interesting. Yeah.
Don't say that word. Yeah. You look comfortable.
Yeah. Oh, no.
No.
Now, the other one that doesn't work. Oh, it looks good on you. Don't say that.
Don't say that.
Yeah.
Don't say that either.
Yeah.
Nope, that's not a good one. That's not a good one either.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to our parting shot. This one is always fun. Not always fun, but obviously it's like, here's a question. All right, is it the gun or is it the shooter? I'll let you decide, Mike. Uvalde, shooter. It was the gun's fault.
Yep.
Kenosha, shooter. It was the shooter's fault.
Yep.
Funny how that works, isn't it?
Yeah. Look at the dew on that kid. Look at Kyle's haircut back then. Man, I was just all wavy hair. You just got it going everywhere. Yep.
Oh my. Good stuff.
The patron saint of Kenosha. Yep.
All right. Well, hey folks, thank you so much for tuning in today. I know it was a short program, but hey, sometimes, we'll give you, sometimes we give you a little bit extra. Sometimes you get a little bit less, but in any case, it's always a good time on the rundown. We will be back tomorrow where we will, it'll be Freedback Friday. So hopefully we'll have a chance to have some good conversation with y'all. So make sure you tune in, encourage your friends to do the same. Like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe.
Hip, hip, hooray.